Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. I hope you had a nice weekend. Boy, this weather has just been wonderful, hasn't it? I don't remember a lot of springs that had these stretches of dry weather in here. And we've got another one starting this week. We were talking about that on Thursday, how that only shot of rain that we had was Thursday night and Friday last week. And we did get some rain in spots. We didn't get enough rain for others. So our discussion is going to be a little bit different today. We know it's going to be dry this week. We know we're going to have sunshine. So instead of tracking the next cloud, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk kind of where we stand precip wise on the year. Do we need the rain? How far behind are we going to fall? Are we going to fall in the drought conditions? Also, we continue to see wildfire smoke in the atmosphere. We didn't have a lot today. We did have some blue sky, but just off towards our north, there's kind of that murky look to the atmosphere again. So we're going to talk about when that goes away and where it's coming from. And then we're going to go in search of our Memorial Day holiday because that's coming up too. So we'll talk about our next chance of rain. All that and more this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. Hi, everyone, and welcome in. Mary's with us. Hi, Mary. Hope you're doing well. Danielle, hello to you. Lance is with us. Hi, Lance. It's going to be, I'm going to guess, a smaller crowd tonight because there's really no active weather. So I want to make this very important for you guys, all right? I want to make sure you get something out of it. Again, we know it's going to be dry this week, all right? So what other things are we kind of worried about? What other things are we thinking of? That's the way I always think as a meteorologist. If I ask a question, I want to find the answer, and I'd imagine you're asking it too. So we'll get into that. First and foremost, want to thank our wonderful sponsors. We thank them every time we go live. Want to start, Lance is actually on here. Want to start with Lance's Lawn Care. If you need anything done with your lawn or yard or just a front landscape, whatever it happens to be, they don't just do lawn services. If you need something mowed, that's fine. They'll handle that. Lance and his team will. But they also do landscaping. They've done a beautiful job for a lot of folks here in Northwest Indiana. So if you need anything done, if you just want to be hands-off this spring, that's fine too. It's Lance's Lawn Care, 219-869-8474 is the number to call. We also want to thank our favorite Tiger Plumbing. They've been with us for 2 years. These are our favorite plumbers in Northwest Indiana. It's tigerplumbing.net. They never, ever charge a trip fee. Ewing Mechanical Services, they do everything HVAC related in your home. A lot of you have used them and said that they're wonderful and that one of you has a brand new AC from them. We haven't used it yet, right? We really haven't had any warm conditions around here, but you'll probably be getting some use this week. They have a spring sale going on. It's ewingmech.com. PSA, those are our public service adjusters. If you don't know what that is, if you have any insurance claim, if something falls, a tree falls on your fence, let's just say, and you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to call insurance or deal with haggling the price that it's worth, they'll do all of it for you. They are basically the middle men and women between you and getting the job done insurance-wise, and they usually will get a maximum amount out of your insurance agency. So that's just awesome. They have 5-star reviews across the board. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. And then Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, they have new specials on Dodge Rams right now. Check them out online and obviously in person if you want to. They have great Jeeps as well on US 30 there in Valpo. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And then finally, last but not least, our nonprofit, stjudehouse.org. They do work around domestic violence. They have a mobile advocacy program that we kicked off in conjunction with them in February. They've already had meetings with folks across all of Northwest Indiana, all sorts of towns, and they don't charge anything. Everything's confidential. They don't charge anything. So if you know of someone that's suffering from domestic violence, which a lot of people are, it's not something that's talked about, stjudehouse.org is where you want to get the best information for that. Okay. All right. Let's jump into this. So this is a satellite. All right. There's not a lot of rain going on, but there's one thing you'll notice on here. When it gets dark there, that's a sun rising, sunset. I took this all day. Notice right in here, I'm kind of highlighting it with my mouse. This area, high cirrus cloud, case. What this is is atmospheric wildfires off towards the north. So we're getting some wildfire smoke off of these Canadian wildfires. We had it last week and we talked about it briefly, but it hasn't gone away. And here's where the fires are right now up in Canada. There are a lot of them. They've had very hot conditions in areas of Western Canada. It's been very dry as well, very similar to our Western US. They just went through a decent heat wave over the last couple weeks. But all of that kind of combined has created quite the wildfire season for them. They didn't get all the moisture that the Western US did here. I mean, obviously, we don't have real bad drought conditions out west anymore, but they do in Western Canada. And all of these red dots are where they have a lot of active fires right now. And all of this put together is creating a lot of smoke in the atmosphere. It all gets lofted up so you don't smell it here at the surface, but all of that is being driven out towards the east on the jet stream. And occasionally, the jet stream comes out of the northwest, and that will bring some of that atmospheric smoke in. We saw it last week. I would imagine we're going to be dealing with it again at times this week. And so what that means for us is that until these fires go away, we're not always going to have a blue sky like we normally do. We often have this kind of milky white looking sky. The sunsets are weird, right? They've got like this, you can see the sun as it actually is going down, and it's kind of a reddish hue to it. So really interesting in terms of how that works. But this is a big problem for our spring and summer in terms of getting that blue sky. I think we're going to be dealing with the atmospheric smoke from these wildfires for quite some time. They are slated to get a little bit of rain as we go into this week, which is good news for them. But still, nothing to worry about here. All right, monitor week to week, which is interesting. So just in terms of the U.S., 17% of the U.S. And 20% of the lower 48 are in drought this week, which is down 13% since last week. It's down 21% since last month. So we've had improving drought conditions across the U.S. A lot of the recent drought has been across areas of the plain states. You see here, I know this graph is tiny, but areas of Kansas, Oklahoma, and up towards Nebraska, that's where the worst drought is in the country right now. Some of that, as I had a post last week showing some of that drought in Northwest Indiana. It was a very small sliver up along the lakeshore, but this also shows you the 1 week change. And as we look at this, you can see all the green on here. That's where we've had improvement. There's been a lot of rain in the plain states over the course of this last week. And the only negative part about the U.S. in terms of developing drought was areas of northern Maine and a couple little areas down here in South Carolina. So this really was a good week for rain. But the problem is we're going to go pretty dry from here on out. We could use rain here. We know that. How bad is it? These are the latest numbers in from today's almanac out of Valparaiso. That's where we base our region numbers from. And what I want your attention to go to here is the rainfall department, which is right to date. Notice we've had 2.8 inches of rain. All right. That's 2.2 inches below average. But more importantly is the fact that since March 1st, we've gone dry. We've had 8 inches of rain since March 1st, but we average about 12. All right. So we're 4 inches below average since March 1st. That's where we're developing problems, is that we've had a dry spring. So we had a lot of rain on the front end. January, February were wetter months. But since March, we've gone fairly dry around here. And that's why we could use the rain in our soils. And you know that you're going to be watering all this week with the sunshine. All right. So let's take a look at where we're expecting the next rain to come from, what kind of system it looks like. And we'll briefly talk temperatures. So this week looks good. We're going to have lots of sunshine. We'll have varying intervals of clouds here and there. Again, we might have some of that atmospheric haze or smoke flirting into the area every now and then. But notice as we go through time, we're dry. All right. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, high pressure is large and in charge. We'll have light wind around here. That means we will have a lake breeze. So temperatures will probably be as 70s and 80s as you get inland. But as you get up towards the lakeshore, a good 5 or 6 degrees cooler. And that's because when you don't have wind to keep that cooler dome of air out over the lake, because lake water's cooler, right? That's a dome of air out over it. When you don't have wind to keep it, push it out over the lake, it expands inland. So that's your lake breeze once we heat up during the day. All right, our next weather system is going to be this system right here. on Wednesday. We've got a frontal boundary that'll come down from Canada, kind of like this last one that came in, and it's going to be dry. There's not a lot of Gulf of Mexico moisture with it. We know how dry it's been up there as well, but that will go through Wednesday into Wednesday night. And what that will do is drop our temperatures. We're going to be a little chilly around here on Thursday. In the sunshine, it's fine, but it'll be very similar to what we just experienced yesterday on Saturday. We were only in the low 60s for highs. We'll probably be there on Thursday with a nice breeze. And then after that, Thursday looks dry. We get on the other side of this high pressure, so we'll recover our temperatures. And here we go. This is Memorial Day weekend already. I can't believe it. Dry on Saturday. Sunday's where we start to bring into question, perhaps we could get some rain. And it's going to be off of this. There'll be a frontal boundary out towards the west. There'll likely be some clusters of showers and thunderstorms along that. The Euro doesn't bring the rain in until Memorial Day. Go figure, right? We finally have a weekend, extended weekend off, and we finally talk some rain after having this dry stretch when we're working. But you notice it brings some showers and thunderstorms in here, something in here Monday and Tuesday of next week, which would be very, very beneficial if that were the case. So we're looking at dry conditions all the way through then. And this is really interesting. These are the last two things I'll show. Then you can go ahead and ask your questions. I'd be happy to answer anything you need. But in terms of precip totals, look at this. There's a big donut hole over northwest Indiana. Not there because that went too far. This is this week right here. Look at this. This is all the way through Saturday. Notice how the only spot pretty much in the whole entire country that's not getting rain is right where we are. All right. So what does that mean in terms of putting us more into drought conditions? Well, if we look at it, this is the 7-day anomaly. It probably put us down about another inch or so. That's what we're looking at. So let's see what this says. Yeah, about another inch. So we'll fast forward this all the way to Saturday. This is the wrong model. Let me see. Anyway, about an inch. So we're going to lose about another inch of precip that we would normally get this time of year. So that means we are now going to be in the hole about 5 inches since March. And that's when we start to deal with some problems. So we'll probably go back into an abnormally dry category on the drought monitor on Thursday. That's when they issue that. Either way, we're going to be watering our gardens and anything else that you planted, all those fresh flowers. It's going to be a watery week. All right. You're going to have to do some work to keep those things going. Okay. So that's all I got for you. I hope that was okay. I didn't really cover what we normally cover. I wanted to talk about the wildfires in Canada and kind of where we sit in terms of precip on the year. And then, cover obviously when we're expecting our next chance of rain, which would be Monday on Memorial Day. We'll have to watch that though. That may sneak into Sunday. Some of the models tend to vary a day or two on these kind of patterns that we see coming up next week. Okay. Ann says, what a perfect day. Yes, it was. Nancy, hello to you. Carl's with us. Hi, Carl. Court says, hey, what's the trophy for? Just curious. These are Emmy Awards. Yeah, so they're really heavy too. I've said it before. I really don't care about awards. This is great and all. They're for a couple. One was actually both our severe weather coverage that we did. But anyway, it's just nice. I mean, they're collecting dust down in the basement, so I figured I'd show them somewhere, and that's on this camera. So there's that. Good evening, Vicki. Hi, Phoebe. Phoebe's with us. Jeff's with us. Hi, Jeff. Jeff got his garden in today. That's awesome. Jeff, what did you plant this year? And is your garden huge, or is it kind of more of a manageable setting? And thank you very much. These are one's from last year, one's from the year before, and then I'm up for another one this year. But that one's for more of an anchor roll, which was just something that my boss, our team at the TV station there, he has a background from the Today Show. He used to work at the Today Show, and Al Roker anchors a lot, right? So he really believes that meteorologists should be, doing more in terms of like anchoring and stuff like that, because a lot of meteorologists, you guys know this from growing up and watching meteorologists, they have more personality sometimes than just doing a weather forecast. So yeah. So we'll see what happens. The Emmy Awards are in June, so we'll find out. Again, it's just an award. I appreciate it because it's a peer award, which is cool. I don't like when someone says, hey, you do such a good job, here's a trophy. Like, I don't know. I don't want to sound negative around it, but I really don't care. Okay. Thanks, Court. I appreciate that. Hi, Derek. How are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Okay. So Jeff planted tomatoes, peppers. Geez, Jeff, radishes, cilantro, He used garden boxes, waiting on 3 more to be delivered to add more plants. That's awesome, Jeff. And hopefully you don't have to worry about animals. It's funny, we've had a raccoon the last couple nights. I told you guys we moved out to the country in October, and we've had a raccoon. It's torn up our garbage the last couple nights, so I've got something real heavy on that garbage can now. But that's that. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Carl asked a good question. Any updates on having more shows? Carl, not right now. Come this summer, things are going to be a little bit different, and one of the reasons why I'm working on, I lose sleep over this, but I'm working on a weather school program that I've got actually coming up this week. It's for the Cleveland Guardians, all right, and it's inside the stadium. Basically, I had to produce an hour show with a bunch of experiments, coordinate all these different organizations, and I had to write the whole thing, and that's going this Wednesday. So honestly, I haven't had a single ounce of time for anything other than that show. Once that's out of the way, I'm excited for it, but once that's out of the way, I can begin to program something. I do want to have some kind of a stricter schedule, Carl, around maybe 2 broadcasts a week that are at a certain time, because I don't like keeping you guys hanging. It's like, oh, what time's Matt going to go live tonight? I don't like that. I like more of a regimented schedule. But also, if I can't be tied to that due to other things, I don't want to do that either, because then we'd be missing some weeks and stuff like that. But as long as we get this broadcast in, the sponsors, our sponsors, including Lance, who's on here, they're wonderful with me, and they're wonderful with this programming and keeping it all free. So this Sunday evening one is the one that I've really stuck to. And so we'll see. Great question, though. Lance is busy with sprinkler systems currently. Lance, that's going to be a big thing if we continue to go dry, is getting sprinkler systems in, because I can tell you from experience, see, I'm thinking weather school, that a couple nights, I would say a week and a half of watering the gardens every single night gets a little old. At first, it's great. Jeff, the rabbits ate your marigolds last year? That's crazy. Because you're supposed to put the marigolds next to the tomato plants. Apparently that keeps the bugs away. You probably know this. And then the rabbits ate them, so that doesn't help anything. That's insane. I'm sorry, buddy. Phoebe, thank you. You're so sweet. You guys are very supportive. And I appreciate that. I really do. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. I mean, guys, it's a really easy week, so I really appreciate you coming in and joining us here tonight. We will have more active weather as we get into Memorial Day weekend, so we'll have updates as we go throughout the week. And then, obviously, as we approach the weekend, my weather school thing is going to be over with, which is great. And so we can really hone in, and I'll have some extra time to chat about any weekend rain chances, because I know Memorial Day is a big one. Obviously, you have plans, I'm sure. So we'll make sure you guys are well taken care of, okay? All right, have a wonderful week. Tomorrow, Monday, we'll kick it off strong. We've got a beautiful week of weather. Please don't take it for granted, all right? It was miserable a couple months ago, and these are the days we've been waiting for. So we're here. We've made it. So please don't take it for granted, because I know it gets old fast, and you're like, oh, another beautiful day, and then it doesn't mean as much. But please make it mean a lot, okay? Get outside and enjoy it. All right, Lance, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. All right, thank you, guys.